Hi, I'm Alan Ross with EPRA, and this is another Take 5. I'm delighted that our first guest today is Daniel Ferrell, and Daniel and I are both CMRPs. We're members of the SMRP. We got a lot of acronyms, right, Dan? So Society of Maintenance and Reliability Professionals has an annual conference. It's one of the best. It's actually how I was introduced to the whole world of reliability. That's where Daniel and I met, I think, a number of years ago at one of these conferences. And they recently had their annual conference. Because of COVID, they went online. I had a presentation there. Dan had a presentation there. I want to talk about, Daniel, you were at the conference day one all the way through as a member of SMRP, as a certified maintenance and reliability professional. Talk to me a little bit about how it went, what you thought the highlights were, and how was the presentation that you had and the feedback from that presentation?
I think a major takeaway for me, in my opinion, would be that if any of the concepts discussed in any of these sessions were completely new to you or your organization, that really you've got some catching up to do. I think the adopters of technology, and this, whether it's condition monitoring or digitization, mobile CMMS and EAM platforms, you're going to have insights to your assets and processes and your workflows that allow your organization to make better decisions around asset management, warehouse stock, and outage planning. And what this means is higher safety performance, better reliability, which are two sides of the same coin, right? And this is going to mean fewer unplanned events and more uptime. And if these are advantages that your competitors have and you don't, it will be very tough to be competitive in your market.
So you mentioned just a minute ago asset management, CMMS, mobile CMMS. So a lot of the conference was aimed at those kinds of concepts or services, whereas a lot of times I remember in the past it was a lot of vibration analysis, pure oil, and what you're talking about is significantly higher order. So that's what a lot of the conference presented.
Yeah, and I think you see that more and more. I'm a little surprised being with an oil and gas. You would think we would have the resources to be further ahead, but it's interesting to see a lot of the smaller, let's say smaller industry, but in conveyor systems and of course the SMRP is just such a broad range of industries that you have a lot of robotics and manufacturing and things like that we don't see in an oil and gas refinery. So it's really just interesting to see all of that going on.
Yeah. So talk about your presentation. How'd that go? How did it come about and how did it go?
Well, I didn't have a presentation at this event. I'm actually going to be presenting at the Chem Petrochem in January. So I didn't have a presentation at this event.
Because we're both doing that, right? We're both going to that.
Right.
And is that gone viral or are we meeting somewhere? I hope we're meeting.
No, we're it's going to be a virtual event. They talked about it was going to be in Austin, and I think they've gone ahead and called it early and said we're going to make that a virtual event also.
All right. So just give a commercial, because that is oil and gas and chemical. Give a little bit of a commercial.
So that one is really going to be directed at oil and gas, chem and petrochem, where the SMRP is just a really broad range of any and every industry, right? I think you can imagine. This is going to be chem, petrochem, asset reliability, which is kind of co-hosted or co-sponsored with the turnaround planning event. So, but it's going to be really geared more towards chem and petrochem. So Flint Hills, and we've got some sister companies. I saw some other speakers from Guardian and Invista, which are sister companies of Flint Hills. So that's going to be really interesting to see people talking more towards really just geared towards our industry, where SMRP is a great body of knowledge for all industries and reliability and maintenance, a lot of those practices. This is going to be really geared towards chemical and petrochem industry.
Okay, what's the title of your presentation?
My session is going to be really more towards the transformation and using digitization in asset monitoring. and what we're looking to do with that information as we're bringing it in. And so for my part, that's going to be electrical assets, transformers, and breakers and motors. We don't get into motors with EPRA so much, but yeah, motors and drives, and so
well, we are
all of that data that we can pull in and trend, we can get insight into our equipment.
We are going to move down into the motors market. In fact, I think it's PDMA is about to become, or is now an EPRA member, and they're down in the motors area. But as we go from high voltage to medium voltage, and that's about as low as we'll go to the motor end of it, motor control units, motors themselves. But so that's very fascinating that we're because see, you don't stop, you go top to bottom, and I agree with you. EPRA stops right now, but we're working on that. We'll get there. So
Good.
one of the things that we're going to ask them to be able to do is when one of our members speaks at a conference, we're asking that conference to give us that content after you do it, and then we repurpose it with accreditation. We want to let them, we want to say this was done at their conference, and we want to give you credit for doing this. But know that we're going to try to broaden it beyond there and go to the 9,000 people that we speak to in the EPRA audience, and that includes our alliance partners, our alliance members. But that'll be a fun time. So we're going to give you a much broader audience than just the people that come to the Petrochem.
Wow.
Okay, so you need to be working on it. Same thing with mine. So let's not say anything stupid.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me to do. Is Alan, just don't say anything stupid. I feel like I'm Joe Biden at a debate, right? Anyway, one of the other things I want you to know, Dan, and this is interesting, Daniel Ferrell, you do not know this, but we have classes of membership, corporate, resource practitioners, alliance members. We got all of these things, and then we have the practitioner member, the individual. It's not a corporate. It's not all of their sites like a Domtar or things like that. But you were individual member, because we gave it away free. But when we had to start paying, you were number one. So you will always be the first charter individual member at EPRA, which was really good. Now you're not, because all of the others that we gave it away free are now coming along and clicking the button. But I thank you for that. I appreciate first of all, I appreciate what you've given us, which is confirmation that we're doing the right things. But thank you for your commitment to reliability, because it's been a struggle for all of us in the reliability world to get people to think this way around electrical system assets. And
Yep.
you live it day in and day out, and I appreciate that. This has been a Take 5 with Daniel Ferrell from Flint Hills Resources, and we will do more with you, Daniel, in the future. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Alan.